So this video is about the cocktail party effect. And what it is it's a psychological phenomena on attention, which I think is one of the most underrated cognitive processes. In 1953, a guy by the name of Edward Colin Cherry did an experiment on attention that we now know as the cocktail party effect, whereby he got participants to put on a set of headphones, and different things came through each ear. There will be a voice coming through one ear and a voice coming through the other, but perhaps saying different things. The task was for the participants to listen to what is coming out of a selected ear, so let's say the right ear, and then repeat back exactly what is said through that ear. So that's the task. You've got to pay attention to your right ear. You've got to repeat the words that are coming out as they come out, right? It takes a bunch of cognitive processes to be able to do this, okay? Now, in the left ear, under various conditions, what was coming out of the left ear changed. So under some conditions, let's say the voice was male, then the left ear would switch to female, for example. And then the goal of the experiment was to try and see if people noticed any of these things, if they were aware of other things that happened around them that weren't directly linked to the task that they are given, their goal, okay? So there's a lot of things that they did notice. Obviously, if the voice switched from male to female, they did notice that. If instead of a voice, it was just a noise coming out of the earphone, and then they noticed that also. But there's some really interesting things they didn't notice, such as if the language changed. So if a male was speaking English in one ear, and that's the ear that they had to be attentive to, if the male voice switched to German in the other ear, they did not notice, participants did not notice if they changed language, or if something crazy like that happened. So that started off a bunch of studies into attention, into what we do notice, what we do take in, what we don't remember. Okay, so attention and memory are really highly linked here. If you have a goal then, and you are paying attention to the things in that goal, you're hyper driven on that, then that's the thing that you're going to end up achieving, okay? However, if participants in this experiment, if they started focusing on what was being said in the other ear, then they would have missed what was actually happening in the thing that they were tasked with, right? And this is the same for real life. If you have a goal, focus wholeheartedly on that goal and try not to be distracted by other things around you, whether mentally or perceptually, right? There's another experiment by Simmons and Chabry, very famous experiment. It's an experiment to do with attention and basketball. So if you haven't seen this experiment before, just pop into YouTube, basketball, attention, and it's the first one that pops up. And have a go at watching that video. Pause this to do that. However, if you have seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is another experiment on attention. You're given a task, something to focus on, and that is where your attention lies. And then in doing so, you miss a lot of other things that happen whilst paying attention to that task. So this is a great explanation as to why sometimes people don't achieve their goals, don't even aim for their goals, right? Is because of something like the cocktail party effect. If you have too much going on, similar to in a cocktail party, if there's too much noise happening, you might not be listening to the person right in front of you. You might try and switch, you might try and pay attention to those. It's all about being attentive, paying attention to the thing that's right in front of you, the thing that is goal-oriented, the thing that you want to achieve, instead of paying attention to the noise around you, right? I really like these experiments and these examples. I think they're incredibly useful despite being a bit old. They've been used numerous times, they've been replicated a bunch as well, and they're really solid studies. And I really find the role of attention extremely fascinating, especially when you try and link it in with the role of memory and how attention really helps memory. So in these experiments, when you ask the participants, oh, did you recognize this, or they miss the other thing that's happening completely, right? They don't remember. In the headphone experiment, they don't know what was said in the other headphone if they were being incredibly attentive to the headphone they were supposed to be. They don't know what's being said. So that links in with memory quite well. As I said, I really enjoy these studies, and I enjoy a lot of cognitive stuff to do with memory and to do with attention, which again I think is a very underrated cognitive process, because it is one of the big factors that makes a difference as to whether you remember more stuff or less stuff.